Hello. Hello. Okay, let's see. Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I can.
Okay, right. Okay, wait a bit, then I'm going to prepare the slides. Yep. Okay, so we have 13 students, right? Let's try this one first. Okay, before I'm starting, the thing that I would like to say is that all materials and books, okay, I have already uploaded in the Google Classroom. You can join later, and this is a Google Classroom code, okay, right? No need to just do it right now. Okay. Just go one by one first. Yeah. Right. So are you ready for the opening semester? Okay, can I ask some of you? Okay, Tinawat, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so how are you?
I think I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Yep.
Right, okay. Right. Okay, so what's about, let's ask, Pirada, are you there? Pirada, are you there? Pirada.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Right. We will introduce each other later, okay? So this session is going to be like a kind of some sort of an overview, and I'm going to show how we conduct this class, okay? And this class is English Statistics, so make sure that you attend the right class, okay? Right, my name is Gwen Grai, and you can call me Ajahn C, okay? Or teacher C or anything like that. And as you know that I teach statistics, and my research interest, including this kind of subjects. And some of you may register another course I teach as well, this course analysis. Okay, so statistics and discourse analysis are these two subjects, they are really quite interrelated. So I think that you might use a kind of knowledge to apply in the future career as well. And you can contact me.
Okay.
Excuse me, I think you mute your microphone.
Okay.
Yes, I cannot hear anything too.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, just warn me from time to time then. Okay, right. The internet signal around my neighborhood is really quite bad. Okay, so it's going to be like on and off from time to time. Okay, so it's good for you to just one time. Interrupt me or interrupt me anytime. Yeah. So the best way to contact me is to through email. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to just give you some time to discuss some of the questions here. I have 4 questions, and then actually you can think about the answers for a while. Okay, I would give you 3 minutes. Okay, and then you can use your own, like I will not use a kind of the word schematic knowledge, but try to use the background knowledge, okay, from the classes that you have attended, and okay, try to answer this question, okay, based on your comprehension and your understanding. Okay, there are 4 questions. Right, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Okay, think about this and you can share to your peers. Okay, right, 3 minutes then. Think about this. Okay, 1 more minute. We need to be serious about the answers, okay? Any answers are possible because I really want to see your opinion. Okay, so any students, you can answer any questions if you like, okay, because I really want to hear your voice. And normally, the first half of each session is going to be the discussion part. So it means that you need to speak most of the time, okay, and it's going to spend around 1 hour. Okay, so, but because this is the first class, so I don't have any assignment yet, but I really want to hear your voice as well. So try to answer based on your understanding then. Okay, there is no right or wrong in this class. Okay, so feel free to share any kind of comments. Right, the first one, okay, who's gonna answer this one? How do you interpret the literature and what are the techniques?
Do you mean like translate or interpret like the language?
Interpret the language, yes. So for example, if you encounter a kind of difficult literature, how can you understand that one? Do you have any technique to understand the novel or the fiction that you have read?
Oh, for me, like I think there are many tools on the internet that help you,
Mhm.
like the summaries on the internet that
Okay.
kind of guide you uh, how the plot is going on there.
Mhm.
And of course, it may require some like knowledge background
Yeah.
about the culture, about the setting there. So yeah, that might help
Okay.
you interpret the literature.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so I think you use the same techniques because when I encounter a kind of difficult fiction, I go to see a kind of summary from the internet, right? Okay, to have some background and to understand anything. Any other techniques? Okay, thank you very much.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe like we try to study how they use their language and like literary device in the literature.
Wow. Okay. What kind of literary devices that you refer to?
Like we-
Yeah.
I can't remember the word, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I simile or like
Right.
uh
Metaphor.
yeah,
Yeah.
metaphor,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Great.
many others.
Okay, very sophisticated answer indeed. Okay, simile and metaphor, and you will learn this kind of techniques in the class. Okay, I think around the second half of this semester, you will learn something about a metaphor. Very good. Yeah, simile and metaphor is a kind of figurative language. Okay, thank you, Natisha. Okay, any other answers?
I guess writers' background and writers' interview about the literature.
Right, biography, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the term for this kind of approach? When you use the author's biography to interpret the literature, what kind of technique that we call it in English? So if you know that J.K. Rowling used to be a secretary and she writes Harry Potter based on her, um, what can I say, her conditions. She wants to be rich, right? Yeah, and then you need to understand her biography in order to understand Harry Potter's point of view. What kind of approach that we call it in English? Start with P. O. S. Okay. This is called positivism. Yeah. So you use the author's background to understand the content. Okay, or if you read like Peter Pan and you see that the content is about a young boy who's never be aging, right? So he is always young all the time. And the author is named James Barrie. He he had a kind of confusing period of adulthood. So that's why he writes this kind of story in order to remind his youthfulness. Okay, so you can link Peter Pan and his biography together. So we use the approach that is called positivism to understand the content. Okay, so you link these two together. And this kind of approach is really used to be really popular in the 19th century, but we normally don't use this kind of approach anymore because it's not really truthful at the time that the author's biography and the content will be relevant all the time. Okay, so when we talk about this kind of approach, people from the literary schools will be a kind of outdated. Okay, it's kind of dated approaches. Okay, right, it's old approach. Okay, and if we talk about the literary schools nowadays, we talk about the postmodernism, right? Think about the novel in a very modern way, indeed. Yeah, right. Okay, literary devices. Yeah, you can search for the summary and background. Okay, right. Okay, so I think that the number one, your answers are really quite covering. Yeah. Any other answers do you like to add?
Uh,
Yeah.
I when I encounter particularly hard literatures, I usually try to fetch out its context first,
Okay.
and I kind of guess its meaning from there.
Okay. Right. So contexts are really quite important too. Yeah. If you really want to understand them, you need to know about the context and surroundings and the cultural background indeed. Okay, trying to understand that and you can understand what they mean in the text. Very good. Any other comments? Okay. Yep. Okay, so you can add later. We will move on to number 2. Why do you think linguistics can help appreciate literature? In what way do you think the two can make the ends meet? Okay. Do you have any comments on this one?
I think it can help you analyze the text in question in a systematic way. Like you can understand how the author used a particular sentence structure to have a certain effect on the reader or something like that.
Very good. The keyword is systematic. I like it. Bawon with, right? Okay, I really like this word because when you use linguistics, it's about a systematic explanation. So when you use a kind of grammatical perspective, you can understand it based on your grammatical knowledge. Okay, and then you can explain this with the evidence. Okay, very good. This is a word that I really like. Okay, for this question. Thank you. Any other answers?
For me, I think linguistic like can help us appreciate literature. Like the syntax definitely tell like where the person comes from. It tells the backgrounds of the way they use their English, because like English there are many varieties of English, right? So yeah, I think it's kind of help us enjoy
Yeah.
the way they speak, the way they speak in English. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you, Sushada. What do you mean by the word syntax here? Okay, can you explain?
Well, I mean like English. Now I think like English has many varieties of English, right? Like dialects, like the way people that use English and they develop English itself, like themselves. So the syntax, the grammar, the vocabulary may vary depending on you know the regions or yeah. So I think it definitely tell where this literature come from.
Right. Okay, very good indeed. And what you said is about the English varieties. So when you read a kind of the sentence which is written by some non-native speakers, for example, the way that they use kind of sentence structure seems to be deviate. So seems to be strange from the norms, right? And then you can understand that this is really quite interesting and very foregrounding in a sense. The word foregrounding is a kind of a keyword for stylistics. Okay. When we use this term for grounding, it means it's really strange or it's really outstanding from the other, from the context. Okay. Then when we find this kind of foregrounding effects, we will use this kind of thing to explain the phenomenon. Okay. That is a very good answer indeed. Okay, yeah, very good. So we can understand from the sentence structure, from the dialects, right, from the English varieties to understand the meaning. Indeed. Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Any other answers?
I think it might help with something between the lines, because sometimes if we just read and understand the sentence or the text, we don't know what the author really want to convey.
Yeah.
Like we need to know like their hidden message.
Very good. So the word between the line is the key here. In linguistics, if you want to understand something between the line, do you know the specific terms for this kind of approach? What kind of linguistics approach that we need to use in order to understand something that is hidden between the line?
Not sure, but is it discourse analysis?
Yeah. Very good. Oh, very good. Yeah, right. Discourse analysis is an approach to understand something that is hidden or something that is invisible in the text. Okay, so we can use this kind of approach to understand it. Very good. Yeah. Okay, great. Sounds fun, right? Okay, any other answers for number 2? We got systematic, we got context, we got syntax, and discourse analysis. Okay, yeah, indeed. Okay, so we can move on to number 3, right? What kind of literature that you like to read? What is so special about them? Okay, this is quite a wide variety of the answers. Okay, so yeah, number 3, any answers? These answers will help me allocate a kind of literature that you may like to read in the future. Okay, so feel free to share.
I like reading young adult literature.
Favorite tone, right? Okay,
Yes.
young adult literature. Why is that?
You know, I love seeing how the character encounters into a problem and, you know, to read and look at how they progress and, you know, solve the answer step by step throughout the book.
Right. Can you give me examples for questions?
For this genre, right?
Yeah.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
ever heard of that?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, a good one though.
Okay, right. So young adult literature, right? Okay, I think that is very quite popular for amongst the teenagers nowadays because the techniques that they are using sometimes it's a kind of mixture between the classic and the postmodernism point of view. So we can learn something from this genre as well. Very good. Okay, thank you. Any other answers?
I like the mystery novels.
Oh, really? Okay. Very good
Yes.
choice. Yeah. For example?
Mm, uh, like I've read Angels and Demons by Dan Brown.
Right.
I kind of like those types of novels.
Okay, good. Mystery,
with
right?
a lot of puzzles.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, you can type in the chat as well, Pumipa said. Yeah. Okay, Pumipa said that young adult literature as well was so special because we mainly studied about young adult literature based on Holocaust events. Okay, good. Holocaust or genocide, right? And the point is so special because I was expecting to encounter the bright, cheerful, and lively story. However, I have studied about Anne Frank diary. I really love Anne Frank diary as well. And for Thai young adult literature, I have readความสุขของพระทิก, right? And it made me feel like I was experiencing other people's childhood. Very good. Yeah, so I think that this story you can relate to your daily lives, right? Because sometimes it can reflect your emotions and some kind of predicaments that you have to been through, okay? Yeah, so emotions and all of the feelings you may feel a kind of involvement, okay, towards the settings. Yeah, very good. Young adult literature and mystery. Okay, yeah. Good news is that I include some of them, okay, for the analysis, so you can analyze based on the statistics theory as well. Yeah, yeah. Okay, any other answers?
I'm not a fan of reading. I don't read for fun, but if I have to choose one, it would be young adult literature as well.
Okay.
Because it's always ends up with hope in the end. So
right.
yeah, it's kind of like give you some fetching feeling.
Yeah, right. Some hope. Yeah, hope, dream, right? Something that you can be successful in the future. Yeah, that is a theme from the young adult literature. Right. Very good. Any other answers? Okay, we have only two genres, right? Young adult literature and mystery. Do you like? We have other type called magical realism. Yep. Do you know this term, magical realism?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, indeed. Magical realism, it means that you blend a kind of magical elements towards the reality. And it seems to be that you cannot make a distinction which part is reality and which part is the magical elements in a sense. So it's really hard to make a distinction. Yep. One example I can give example is like Mary Poppins, for example. Like you have a magical nanny, and you seem to think that she is a real person, right? But actually she is not. Yeah, but sometimes you cannot just tell which one is a reality and which one is fictional, right? So this is the thing that nowadays novels tend to use this kind of themes from time to time. Yeah. And we also have Victorian literature, right? You know Victorian literature? The examples is, yeah, okay, let me think for a while. Yeah, Oliver Twist, for example. Yeah, Harry Potter is like a magical realism indeed. Yeah, but the story seems to be based on the fantasy mostly. Yeah, but yeah, it blends between the reality in terms of when Harry has to go back home and stay with his cousins indeed. Yeah, but most of the time it's going to be like a fantasy. Yeah, fantasy genre. most of the time. But yeah, you can just categorize it as a magical realism as well. Yeah. Or the novel called Beloved. Yep. By Toni Morrison. This one is a classic example for the magical realism because you have to live with a ghost. Yeah. And you cannot tell which character is a ghost. And people seem to just live with the ghost like a normal thing in life. Yeah. And sometimes it's really quite scary when the truth reveals that the people that we are living for a long time actually is a ghost, for example. So this is a kind of magical realism. Yeah, the classic one. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Thank you for number 3. Yeah. And number 4 then. Okay, the last one. What is your expectation from stylistics and how can you apply the knowledge to your future career? Yeah, I think this one is really one of the most interesting questions for me. Okay, I really want to hear your point of view as well.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I have problems with my my internet. Yeah. Let's see. Let's share. Okay, great. Okay, number 4. What is your expectation from stylistics and how can you apply the knowledge to your future career? Yeah, if you'd like to share. The simple question is that why do you reach it? Why do you study statistics is the question. Yeah. Any answer? Okay. Any answers? Yeah.
I think like for me, I want to understand like English better, like symmetrically, like like you kind of like you can explain the way it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like symmetrically.
Yeah.
And for the application, I mean, like if I work as a content writer, I probably need to do some research in English, and this may help me to understand the text
Okay.
better.
Good. Yep, that is a good answer indeed. And the point about the systematic is really quite intriguing for this class, okay? Because you need to explain all of the phenomena based on your linguistic background and knowledge. And it depends on the grading evaluation as well. It depends on how you explain the phenomena systematically or not, okay? If you can do it and if you can use the knowledge very quite well, indeed, the evaluation, the grading is going to be great indeed. But if you cannot do it, it's going to be very problematic in the sense of grading evaluation. And talking about the content writer, indeed, you have to use this kind of knowledge like 80% of the time. Even to use the capital letter, for example, or the small letter, something like that, it affects the way that we read, right? Or the way that you arrange the sentence from the first position syntactically, or from based on the syntax or the word choice that you have used, right? It affects the way that we read, okay, for sure. That's why we need to just study this class, okay? Very good, thank you. And you will understand this kind of the stylistics approaches much more when you just read, when you just study this class. Okay. Any other answers?
Teacher, I considering what we have discussed and the question, it seemed like you confine your attention to just novel, but I would like you to expand. I want you to analyze other types of text as well, because
Yeah.
I want to understand like technical text or something, or it can be applied to those texts as well if you just analyze only novel. Or, yeah.
Oh, you mean the focus, right? The focus of this
Yeah.
class, yeah, actually it's going to be like in the novel for 80%. Yeah. But for sure, in the 20% is going to be derived from some real text, like from the advertisement and from the internet. And yeah, you can see that from some examples that I've chosen. It's going to be derived from a kind of real conversations and some series. Okay, so when you just use this kind of the techniques, you can understand. You can use the novel as a background or as a foundation, but you can apply this to the real text as well. Yep. Yep. Thank you. No worry, okay, because English statistics, it covers all other things from the political speech, from the advertisement, and from the conversations, and from the novels, okay? But because we need to just use this kind of techniques, that's why I need to just use the novels as a foundation, okay? Yep. Okay, any other answers or any other comments? Okay, right. So I'm going to move on then, okay, because we have some time limitation here. Yeah, okay, thank you very much for the sharing your comments, okay? So I can apply this to my schedule, okay? Right. Okay, let's see the course description. I said that this is the first class, right? So you need to know what kind of the things that we are going to pass through, right? Okay. The description is that it concerns with the linguistic analysis of literary text, but actually, as I said, that it's going to be like 80%. Yeah, and 20% is going to be derived from the real text. Okay, like the political speech or something like that. And then we will use this kind of theory, stylistics, okay, and you will be introduced a kind of a new concept we call cognitive stylistics. It means that you need to use a kind of your cognition to understand the novel or the text that has been written. And then you need to explain this, okay, in order to understand the reality, okay, and understand the fictional words, characters, and point of view. So this is a kind of the concept that we will learn. Okay, before I'm going to move on, okay, you can go to my Google Classroom, okay, if you like to jot down, okay, use this kind of code and then you can download any kind of the documents, okay, from this class, HHCQNEW, okay, right, I'm going to set it still for a while. you can go to the classroom later, okay? But you can download everything from that classroom. And I will try to update on a weekly basis. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. So as I said, that the focus is going to be in the prose fiction, but poetry, drama, lyrics, political speeches, and some graphic novels will be considered. Okay. Because a lot of students ask me, okay, why do we need to use literature as a foundation, right? Because statistics is based from the literature school, and you will learn later about, okay, some background of this one, why the literature is really important for statistics and why we need to use this as a foundation in the future approaches, okay? And then in each section will be I will introduce through a range of detailed examples, the theoretical and analytical concepts to be considered. Okay? And the rest of the session will also be devoted to group discussion and analysis of specific texts. Okay. So as I said, that the first half of each class, okay, it's going to be the group discussion. It means that I would give you some assignment and then you need to read it very carefully and then you need to take notes, okay, and then you can use your notes to discuss with your friends, okay. So make sure that you have done the assignment every week, because if you don't do it, it's going to be really quite a quiet class, okay. So try to be ready for the discussion. Class. Okay, any questions as of now? Yeah, but the focus is going to be in the literature. Yeah. And the course objectives that we would like to achieve. Okay, the first one is to identify principles of stylistics. Okay, so we have to know about, okay, what is the stylistics and what kind of approaches that we provide, right? And number two, establish the relationship between linguistic choices and the effects they create in the mind of the reader. Okay. So if you understand, if you want to be a content writer, you need to understand the mind of the reader. Okay, what kind of effects that we want to use in order to make the reader feel like we are writing towards them, right? Okay, and this is the thing. We need to establish the relationship. And number three, develop skills of stylistic analysis in literary text as analytics from literary convention. From other schools, you can learn lots of approaches like romanticism or the postmodernism point of view, okay, to understand the literary conventions. But for this one, we will use linguistics as a foundation, okay? So these are the course objectives, right? Okay. Identify, establish, and develop. Okay, and make sure that you have passed these courses already, right? Okay. Yeah, and I checked. Yeah, I checked already that you have passed this kind of coursework. So this is a tentative schedule. You can see that this is my first draft. Okay. What I meant the first draft is that it depends on your point of view too. If you would like me to use more realistic text, like from the real settings, okay, I can change. But you can see that the samples that I have used from for this class, it is based on the novels and fictions mostly. For example, okay, this is a song that that is really quite relevant to the reality. If you have heard this song, okay, it's really relevant to this kind of theories, okay. And this is a fiction, right? Okay, and this is fiction, fiction, fiction. Okay, and this is a political speech. Yep. And I think that we can use the reality in this one, yeah, in the last class, yeah. So it's a kind of combination between the realistic text and the fictional text. Okay, right. So this is the first week. Okay, from this one, it's going to be introduction, and I'm going to teach you some of the concepts. Okay, let's see if we have enough time. And we'll follow by for grounding. Okay, based on the morphology and syntax. Okay, and you will be introduced to this word and grammaticality. Okay, so sometimes when we write, okay, people seem to avoid a kind of correct grammar in order to make people feel strange. Okay, why this sentence seems to be not grammatically correct, but it has a kind of purpose and it has a kind of full intention to draw people's attention. Indeed. Okay, right. And the next week we will use we will talk about functional categories and style. Okay, and if you really like grammar and if you really like syntax, okay, this class will be your cup of tea indeed. Okay, because we will learn about systemic functional grammar, SFG. Okay, but for this word, I'm going to make it as easy as possible because actually when we talk about SFG, we refer to a kind of 7 thick books, okay, by M.A.K. Holiday. But I'm going to use just only one approach that is called transitivity. Okay, this word transitivity categories to understand the intention or to understand the characterization of a character. Okay. And the next week we will introduce point of view and modality. Yep. Okay. Can I ask you what is a modality? Do you know the word modality? I think you may recognize the term like what helping verb. Yeah. Or you can use the word boosters or hedges. Ring a bell?
I think the modal verbs.
Yeah, yeah, modal verbs. Yeah. Can you give an example?
May.
Yeah, very good.
Might.
Yeah, indeed. The word may, might. See, just only you know these words, you can get another theory. Yeah, it's about point of view. Because sometimes when people say that I might do this or I may do this, it means that the speaker has a kind of different degree of confidence, right? And it means that his point of view may not really as confident as the others. Okay, so we will take a look at the point of view in a different point of view. Yeah, it means that from different aspects. Okay, we know that point of view, we have the first person narrative, we have second person narrative, right? And we also have a third person narrative, but that is a kind of conventional, right? But we will use the point of view in terms of degree of confidence. Okay, some people feel really confident when they tell the story, and some people may feel less confident when they tell the story. This is another approach from the stylistics. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, right. The next one, pragmatic stylistics. We have the 2 classes here because we need to understand people from the conversation because we talk to lots of people, right? So that's why I think this theory is really relevant to understand the characters or to understand people's mind, right? So I'm going to just focus on this for the 2 weeks, okay? And the word pragmatics. Okay, I'm not sure that you have heard this term before. Have you heard this one? Pragmatics. Yeah, pragmatics. Any idea? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Can you share?
actually,
Yeah.
we heard this word in Introduction to Linguistics.
Oh, really good. Okay, so what is it? Yeah.
Actually, I just can't recall anything, but I will guess based on the word.
That's all right. That's all right. I know. Yeah, because
Oh,
I think yeah.
excuse me. I remember. It means like language, meaning in context.
Okay.
Right.
Meaning in context. Yeah, indeed. And people say that when you learn pragmatics, it means that you learn about invisible meanings. Yeah. And when you talk to people, sometimes you can understand people's character from the way that he said or she said, right? For example, I give you a clear example, like when A asks, how old are you? Okay. Can I hear the answer from Bawon? Okay, what is the answer for this one?
22.
Yeah, 22. Okay, what about Titipong?
21.
21. Right. And if you have a friend, answer this one. 22
2.
years, 3 months, 4 days. How can you tell this kind of character? B seems to be like a normal person, right? Because you need to just answer straightforwardly, right? Talking about the age. So you need to answer like 22 or 21. So what happened to D doc? I'm 22 years, 3 months, and 4 days.
I think people who answer like D would be the person who would pay attention to every detail.
Very good. Do you think he is strange or normal?
I don't know.
Okay, right. And actually, when we talk about this one, according to pragmatics theory, this person is not a kind of a person who has a suitable answer because he breaks the maxim of quantity. Okay, because the answer is too much. Yeah, too much information. Yep, this is called a case of the too much information responders. And you can tell that these seems to be strange from the norms. See, so when you understand the pragmatics, you can understand this kind of phenomenon that, okay, we can explain that this answer is wrong because he breaks the maxim of quantity. Because normal people have to just answer this one in a very kind of the normal maxim of quantity. The quantity is proper, right? Not too much, not too little. Okay, so that's why I think that when we talk about conversation, these two are relevant to the reality. Okay, and we will learn this from these fictions. Okay, in Butterfly, Birthday Party, and The Curious Incident of a Dog at Nighttime. Okay, this one is I recommend you to read because you can tell that the narrator is he is an autistic person. So that's why when you have this kind of autistic disorder, when you answer the question, you will have problems understanding people's mind. They don't know how much information that he has to provide to the listeners. Okay, so this is a kind of a classic examples. Okay, and you can use this to apply in real life as well. So you can notice about this kind of behavior from your friends or from your peers, and you can explain, maybe the answer seems to be strange from the norms in a sense. Okay, right. Yeah, and then from the pragmatics, we learn about my style. Okay. The word my style here is that sometimes when people have a kind of from this one, the character Basic, he is a kind of a stoic, very strong man, right? He seems to be a strong, muscular in a sense, right? But the way that he said, it shows that his my style is like a child. Okay, so the way that he speaks seems to be like a child speaking. Okay, so he used a kind of simple sentences and he used a verb phrase too many times, right? And this is a kind of evidence that we can explain why this character seems to be strange. Okay, and we move to the possible words and metaphor. Okay, and then the last one, called stylistics. Okay, we use the linguistic evidence to tell about the phenomenon, okay, through the computer analysis. Okay, yeah. So this is a kind of tentative program. Okay, yeah. So if I need to observe the class first, okay, and I may change the materials, okay, based on your performance in the class, okay. So it depends, okay, and what kind of alternatives and what kind of the preference that you like to use, okay. If you like to have a more realistic conversation or from the writing, okay, I may change some of the materials, okay, based on your preferences as well. And we will have a static showcase. Okay, it is group work presentation. Okay, and I will explain this later. Okay, and it's a kind of the analysis that you need to just analyze one work. Okay, from novel or from the reality. That depends on your choice, but you need to present to your classmates. Okay. Yeah, and this is a kind of tentative schedule. Any comments? Okay. Right, so let's see the evaluation then. Okay. This is more important, right? Okay, attendance and participation is 10%. Okay, this is really phenomenal. Right? But I would judge from your discussion. Okay, so make sure that you are ready to discuss, okay, the first half of the session. Each class, there will be a class discussion. So make sure that you have read and then you are ready to discuss. So it's going to be 10%. Okay. And classwork, there will be 30%. There will be 2 quizzes, okay, and 1 presentation. Okay. It means that your statistic showcase, okay, for 15%. And for the midterm exam, it's going to be essay, as well as this one take-home examination. Is a kind of essay writing as well. Okay. So make sure that we use this evaluation from the beginning to the end. Okay, so stick to it. For the midterm exam, statistic analysis, I would give you some excerpts, and then you need to use theories to analyze, okay, and then you need to explain this systematically, and make sure that you have to conform to the APA style guide as well, okay. Use proper references and everything. And for the final paper, it's the same thing, okay. So the take-home examination is going to be I will have some choices for you to choose, and then you need to write an essay on it.
Will the midterm exam be a take home?
Yeah, take home as well. Yeah, indeed. And normally I would give you not less than 3 days. Okay, it's going to be like 3 days to 7 days. Okay, it depends on your workload as well. So I have to ask you later about your workload, and if it's too much, I'm going to extend it into 7 days. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay, and the grading criteria. Okay, this is and if some of you have already studied with me, you will understand that it's not hard to get A. Yeah, so make sure that you review all of the class content and just do it your best. Okay, it's not as hard as it seems. Indeed, I can tell you all of that. Yeah. Right, and I hope that there will not have an F in my class. Okay, it's really hard to get F from my class. Indeed. Yeah, so do your best then. Okay. And what's the student role? You're expected to be an active participant, preferably working alongside other students. So I mean that in terms of the class discussion, I like you to prepare reading the materials and assignment before the class. Okay, and then in the class we can discuss with your friends, and we will have a breakout room. Okay, so you need to discuss with your friends, and then you can share your ideas towards all of the classmates. Okay, later. Right. Yep. And as I said that Stylistics is about the experimental class, so the class materials can be changed, okay, based on your preferences and based on your performance, indeed. Okay, and then if I found it is too challenging for the students, I'm going to change it into less challenging materials. Okay, yeah, but try to make sure that you are active and do the assignments. Okay, you have class in 13 weeks. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to change it. Yeah, in the 13 week, I think that some students request that they want to have a holiday. But you can see that I have one week for the reading week. It means that we don't have a class, but it is a week for the reading. And it is a kind of the week that you can ask me anytime, or if you want me to review any kind of the content, okay, feel free to do it. And feel free to do it individually or as a small session, okay? So I would like to, this week to be like a off week because you need to read it in order to review all of the contents and theories, okay, from time to time. So I think, let's see then, okay, if I can finish the class, okay, within the time limit, I think that 13 week will be the off week as well. Yeah, so it depends. Yeah. There will be only 10 topics for my class, okay, so I can arrange my class, okay, based on your preferences too. 13 week, right? What is the date? Sarosha, what is the date? 13 week. I'm not sure. Okay, so I need to calculate one more time. Indeed. Yeah. Right. Okay, and this is required reading. This is just for the references if you have time. But the books that I really want to recommend, I just put it in the Google Classroom already. Yeah, and this is a kind of the convention that we will have, okay, throughout the class. 1 hour. There will be a discussion part based on the assigned readings each week. Okay, and this will spend 1 hour, and you are all responding to read and analyze by yourself at home before coming to the class. And class discussion will be based on the questions to check how much you comprehend based on the statistic analysis. Okay, and then I will provide you just only 1 hour and 15 minutes. Lecture is going to be short because I know that it's not a normal class, so I'm not going to give you like a stressful situation. Okay, so try to be brief as much as possible. But because of this this kind of the brief session, some contents and some terminologies you need to have a self-study etiquette as well, because some terminologies you need to just spend more time in order to understand. So that's why I recommend you to just go back to the book and then read about the terminologies once again, and then if you still have questions, you can just go back and ask me anytime. And 15 minutes will be Q&A sessions. Okay, so this is a kind of etiquette that I'm going to use throughout this class. Okay, are you okay with this one? Okay. Normally a statistics class, There will be like around this one, just only 1 hour, 30 minutes, not more than that, because we have lots of things for students to have to do a kind of self-study later. Okay. Yeah, but I'm going to introduce only the concept and the terminologies that you need to know in order to pass week by week successfully. Yeah. Okay. And this is a kind of assignments that I'm going to give, okay, on a weekly basis. So you have to read this kind of the material, and then you need to just go back home, analyze, and jot down something to discuss with your friends. And then in class, in the first half of the class, you need to discuss about this. I will have some leading questions for you to do with your friends and your peers. Okay, like this one. The following poem is by the Liverpoolian poet Roger McGough. Okay, and then you need to analyze. Okay, why the writer has to do something like this. Okay, what is the purpose, and why he has to do this kind of structure. Blah blah blah. Right. Okay. Yeah, and this is a Google Classroom code. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay. What's up now? Right. Okay, so I'm going to give you like 5 minutes break, and then we will come back to our session. Okay, I'm going to give you a lecture. As I said, it's going to be like 1 hour. Okay, then I will give you an assignment, and then you need to read it in advance for the next week. Okay, so I'm going to give you a break for 5 minutes. Okay, if you have any questions, you can write me any question via chat or anything like that. Yeah, right. Okay, 5-minute break. Okay, hello. Yes. Okay. You can hear me, right? Okay, good. Right, so let's start then. Do you have any questions as of now regarding all the etiquettes and all of the evaluation or anything like that if you'd like to ask? Okay. You can chat as well. Okay, no worries. If you want to, if you don't like to share, okay, you can chat. Good. Okay, so this is the content for the first week. Okay, and then I'm going to introduce a kind of concept for the stylistics. And I just title it as a creativity in language and literature. Okay, so that's why the word literature is really important because as I said that the foundation of the stylistic is based on the literature. That's why you need to go back to the roots and then understand why is that. Okay. And to test you, okay, a little bit, right? Just take a look at this poem, okay? And then just tell me what is so strange and what is so interesting about this poem, okay? Right. So just take a look for this one for 1 minute, okay? And then you can share your ideas or anything like that. Yep. The question is that what is the interesting point of this poem? What is so strange about it, or what do you like about it? Okay. Any comments? Okay.
The way it separates the word.
Okay, good. Dishara, yeah. Okay, how? Separate the word.
Like into like 1 or 2 syllable. I'm not sure, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, they separate it.
Yeah, separated. And do you know why? Oh, very good, Pumipat. Yeah, that is a great answer. The way that the words have been separated into 2 sides kind of look like a score in the sport competition for me. Yeah, very good. The keyword is like a sport competition. Okay, thanks Sushada and Pumipat for the answer, right? Sport competition. And how do you know that it is sport competition? What is the evidence? Tennis, very good.
Tennis.
Yeah, indeed. See, when you just hear from the tennis court, right? And when someone just announced 40 love, what does it mean, love?
0.
0, yeah, indeed. So it's a kind of competition between the one who is going to be a winner and a loser, right? And then you can see that it is a kind of parallelism or the parody of the sport competition. And when you just read this one, middle-aged couple playing tennis, when the game ends and they go home, the net will still be E. Yeah. And so what is the content? Okay, what is the story about this poem? Middle-aged couple, right? So they're around 40s, right? And they just play the tennis together. And when the game ends and they go home, the net will still be. What does it mean then? What can you tell about the relationship between this couple? Not a healthy one. Very good. Yeah. And actually, I just really like the answer, not a healthy one. But based on his purpose, he tries to say that it is a reality. When we are in love or when we are in a relationship, okay, fighting cannot be avoided. Yeah. Is it true or not? That's why, okay, when you are a couple, you need to fight against each other, even though you love each other. But fighting or a kind of competition, okay, it happens from time to time. But from the point of view, yeah, it's also interesting interpretation, not a healthy one because they need to fight and continue fighting forever. Okay, so this is a kind of evidence. If you want to do statistic analysis, you need to explain why it has a kind of sport competition structure, right? And the evidence here is from this one, 40 love. It means that it is a kind of a winner against a loser, right? And when you just read the content, it means a kind of relationship between husband and wife, right? Okay, and then you can just get the conclusion, yeah, that it might not be a healthy one or might reflect the realistic settings from the couple or from the marriage indeed. Okay, so this is a kind of thing that you need to think throughout the statistics. When you just got the evidence, you need to use the evidence to provide the explanation. That is the point of the statistics. Okay, I tell you from the first class until the end, this is a kind of structure that you need to provide in order to pass this course. Okay, yeah. Okay, is it too challenging? Not yet, right? Okay, good. One. Okay, where is my pen? Where's my pen? Okay, good. Right. So a definition of statistics here. You can go back to the book, okay, for the detailed description of this one. But you can just read from slide that in its broader sense, statistics is concerned with the description and interpretation of distinctive linguistic choices and patterns in text. Okay, so the keyword is that the choice that the author or the writer has made versus patterns in text. Okay, so when someone just writes, okay, they have to just compose this in a kind of pattern way. And this kind of pattern is really quite interesting for us to analyze why it is so really interesting indeed. So stylistics is the study of style and can be defined as the analysis of distinctive expression in language and the description of its purpose and effect. Okay, so you analyze in order to understand the writer's purpose and the effect that's going to be towards the reader. That is the thing that you need to bear in mind all the time about statistics. You need to declare and you need to justify the purpose of the writers and what kind of effects that are going to give to the readers. Is it going to be scary or is it going to be really quite thought-provoking? Okay, this is an effect that we can discuss later. Yeah. Okay. And we have two terms, okay, and this is a thing that really concerns our students, okay, a while later, previously, that general and literary statistics. What is so different between these two? Okay, when we talk about general statistics, it concerns with the relationship between language and context of use, and involves study of the styles associated with different genres, okay? So we use stylistics to understand the writings from different genres, maybe from the academic writing, from the business discourse, or from the novels itself, or from the political speech. Okay, so if you use stylistics in all genres, it's called general stylistics. But for the literary stylistics, it is primarily concerned with the relationship between the language of literary texts on the one hand and their meanings and effects on the other. So the focus is on literary text. Okay. Yeah. So in this class, we will rather incline towards literary stylistics because I use the novels as a foundation. Okay, but again, I would try to use a kind of the real writings as well as the real conversations for you to analyze as well. Yeah. The other reason that you need to use the novels because the novel has place for you to be creative. So if you want to be a content writer example, you need to use kind of samples from the literary text, because you can copy and you can imitate the style that have been used and really effective towards the reader. Okay, that is another reason that you need to read literary or fictions. Yep. And for the origins of statistics, okay, the school of statistics came from the Russian formalism. Okay, let me see. When we talk about Russian formalism, okay, the word formalism is really quite scary, okay, even for the linguist, okay. When we talk about formalism, it means rules, okay, or the restrictions. And calculation, yeah. These are the three words that they are related to the formalism indeed, okay. So this school, they think that literature is really different from the other types of the writings. One thing is that they have a notion that the literature is a kind of the highbrow. Okay, do you know this word? Highbrow literature means that the writing for the novelties or for the someone who is superior than the others. Okay, so that's why the Russian formalism think that because it is in the high status, right? So that's why we need to study them through the restrictions and rules. Okay, then it begins with the literary analysis indeed. Okay, so the technique of art is to make objects unfamiliar. They have a notion that the literature is really strange or deviate from the other types because it has a kind of unfamiliar structure. Think about the poetry, right? When you write the poetry, you need to have rhyming, right? Like A, B, something like that. Or in Thai, when you just read Sunthorn Poo, right? You need to have a kind of restrictions and rules, like a gone back, for example. Okay, แม้นใครรักมั่นใช่ฉันตอบ something like that, right? Or a kind of the rules that it has to be attached with the literary writing indeed. So that's why the Russian formalism tries to understand this kind of unfamiliar phenomenon through the rules and restrictions. Okay, this is a kind of concept from the Russian formalism indeed. And for poetry, the standard language is the background against which is reflected the aesthetically intentional distortion of the linguistic components of the work. In other words, the intentional violation of the norms of the standard. Okay, so it's about why this kind of the literature violates the norm of the standards. Okay, why they must have a kind of the patterns and rhyming and symbolism and everything like that. Okay, yeah. So this is a kind of the origins of statistics from the rules and restrictions. Okay, and you can link this to the linguistics because linguistics has rules and restriction as well, right? So that's why Russian formalism really like linguistics because linguistics has rules and restrictions indeed. Okay. Any question as of now? Okay, and I have to want to, I speak quickly. Yeah, and when I delve into a kind of content, when I feel to lose myself, okay, so try to break me anytime, okay? Intervene me, interrupt me, okay? I'm okay with that, okay? Right, for example, like this one, okay? This is from the Dylan Thomas, right? This is a kind of a famous, I cannot call it as a poem, but it is a kind of writing. When he just write this one, a brief ago, do you feel some kind of unfamiliar situation here? Can you share? Do you feel any kind of strangeness or what is so interesting about this writing? A brief ago, Just only 3 words.
Maybe usually when we use ago, it relates with time, but
Yeah.
this one, the noun is grief, which is a feeling or
Yeah.
uh,
Very good indeed. Okay, that is a hard one indeed. Okay, for this one, you can you can explain this. Is very good indeed, Natisha. Ago tends to relate to time, right? But grief is a kind of emotion. So how can these two link together? And how can you understand this one then? A grief ago, what does it mean?
maybe the last time that the person feel grief.
Yeah,
sad.
you see, and this is a kind of normal perception from general audience. Okay, they feel like that, but you can see that people seem to not care much about the grammatical structure, right? But they can understand, even though it breaks the grammatical rules, right? And a used with what? When we use article a, it has to be plus with
Now,
yeah, singular now, right? Okay, it has to be singular too. So where is now here?
Grief, but it's not
Yeah.
countable noun, right?
It's an uncountable noun. Yeah, so it breaks all kind of grammatical rules. Yeah, but can we just use this one? Okay, someone try to explain this. Grief ago, just grief ago is like a singular noun. Is that possible? Can grief ago is a singular noun? Not possible as well. Yeah, so this kind of 3 words, it breaks all grammatical rules that we have learned from the first year, from our freshman, right? Okay, so this breaks all the rules here. Yeah, but still, people still perceive the same thing. It talks about the sadness that has been past for a while, okay, for some time. Yeah, so is it strange that people feel the same thing even we break the rules? Yep, that's why we need to study stylistics indeed, right? Okay. Yeah, this is a kind of a simple one and a classic. Is a classic example that you may find from the stylistic course. Okay, and the next part, yeah, as you can see, that stylistic has been used in terms of in the general sense, okay, even in the political speech or political slogan. Like when you hear this one, I like Ike, okay, and this is a political slogan. I can show the evidence here that I like Ike, and he is a Republican, and this is a kind of slogan that that was used in the US for a long time, okay, because Eisenhower used to be a president of the US for a long time, but this is I like Ike, okay, and this is proved by the marketing share and lots of the evidence said that this political slogan is really effective by the time. Can you explain why? Yeah, just only 3 words. I like Ike. Ike is a nickname for the Eisenhower. Yeah. Why it is really effective towards the audience.
This is like a rhyme, like and like.
Yeah, indeed. The first reason is that it has the rhyme like and like. What else?
Is it because it's easy to remember?
Yeah, easy to remember indeed. Yeah, indeed, because when you talk about rhyming, right, people seem to get hooked by that kind of the rhyming very easily. That's why when you just hear the nursery rhyme, you will feel that it's really easy to remember, right? Because it has a sense of the patterning. Okay, it has pattern, it has rhyming, and it has a sense of recognizing the linguistic pattern, indeed. And IKE, right? And IKE here is really similar, right? So IKE in terms of lexical deviation, the lexical seems to be really similar to each other. I like, and when you just cut the word L, it's going to be IKE as well. Okay, so that's why it's really effective by the time. Yeah, it seems to be easy, but actually it's really quite hard to think this kind of slogan to hook people. Okay, so if you want to work in the advertising agency, you need to think about this all the time. Think about the rhyming, think about the effects that that the readers might feel in a sense. Okay, and this one, nothing is so beautiful as spring. When weeds in real, short, shoot long, lovely and lush. Okay, this is a kind of this is written by Hopkins Spring, and when we talk about the word spring, what do you think about the word spring? What is the possible meaning of this word spring?
Season.
Season. Yeah, the first one is season. Very good. Season of life. Very good. Yeah. And when you talk about season of life, it may reflect, Pumipat, you may reflect about the birth, right? Yeah. When we compare this to the season, spring means the birth of the origin. But when we talk about the winter, it's about the ending, or we can refer to the death, right? Okay, season, birth. What else?
Abundant.
Abundance. Very good. Yeah. Very good. So lots of trees, lots of flowers, right? Okay. What else? Let's see.
Fertility, like fertile.
Very good. Fertility. Very good. Yep. Okay. What else?
A coil.
Coil. Ah, right. Very good. Like this one. A coil. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Indeed. What else? A significant progress, like spring up. That's very good. Okay, so it had the same meaning of a coiling. Okay, that your friend has already discussed. Thank you for that. What else? If I talk about hot spring, what does it mean? Yeah, okay. That is a kind of the, what can we say, fountain? Is that a fountain? Yeah, some kind of the hot fountain indeed. Yeah, so the spring have, it has many meanings, right? From the season to the birth to abundance, fertility, and core. And then when you just read this poem, all of the things that we have discussed, it includes in a very short sentence. When weeds in wheels shoot long, lovely, and lush. Weeds here, it means abundance and fertility. So it means that, and lush as well. Weeds and lush represent the word abundance and fertility. Wheels mean coil. So it means that it is about to grow. It's about to what can I say? To flare up, right? Okay, in real shoot long. Okay, it talks about eternity, right? And lovely. It means that it's really quite nice to be in this season. So it talks about the season here. See, so just only this kind of a very short sentence, it includes everything that we have in mind. So that's why this poem is very intriguing. Okay, by the time. Yep. See, so we can talk about the semantic semantic meanings. If you know, semantic means about the meaning. When we play with the meaning of this word, how can we just put all kinds of the perspective of this word to just only one short sentence? This is a kind of the very hard to do, okay? And you need to be very creative as well, okay? Yeah. Any questions as of now for this one? See, that's why when you study statistics, you can use this in everything that has been written, even though it's fictional or it's a realistic one. Okay. Yeah. So the notion that you need to bear in mind, okay, from the first class until the end, is these terms, and you may hear me talking about these terms, okay, repetitively, right? The word strange and deviate or deviation, okay, and for grounding. So these three are the terms that you need to know: deviation, parallelism, and for grounding. Okay. So deviation, it means strange. Okay. How is this words are strange from the normal context? Okay, so you need to ask yourself all the time that when you analyze statistics, you need to think about deviation. How is it strange? Okay, and how can you explain this? And parallelism, it means to parallel and to repeat, right? And for grounding, it means how it is really quite outstanding from the others. Okay. So deviation and parallelism both result in foregrounding effects. Okay, and these are the key terms. So unexpected irregularity, it is called deviation. Okay, and unexpected regularity, it means parallelism. Okay, so if you see a kind of the repetitive patterns, it is parallel, right? And if you found something is really strange, it is called deviation. Okay, so these are the two terms that you need to bear in mind. Okay, deviation and parallelism can bring the foregrounding effects towards the reader. Okay, okay. Unexpected irregularity called deviation, and unexpected regularity is called parallelism. Parallelism is you can see from I like Ike. See, the repetition of a sound. Okay, this is called parallelism. And deviation, it means something really strange. Okay, right. Okay, I'm going to introduce just only some of them. Okay, you can find more examples from the book. Okay, yep, and lexical deviation, okay, in terms of the lexics, in terms of the word, okay, and grammatical deviation in terms of syntax or grammatical. Phonological deviation in terms of sound, okay. Sometimes the sound is really strange and for grounding. And graphological deviation, okay, in terms of picture or illustration. Semantic deviation in terms of meaning, okay. And deviant word, it means that the word is so different from ours, okay. Right, so we have 6, okay, deviation that I would like to introduce today. Yep. Deviation at different linguistic levels. Let's at first, okay, graphological deviation here. When you just see this picture, what is your first perception? Okay, when you see this picture,
It's like a tray.
Okay, tray.
I think it's like trophy.
A trophy. Yeah.
No, I mean TREE.
Ah, tree. I'm sorry. Tree. Yeah, a tree. Okay. Trophy. What else?
A lamp.
Lamp. Oh, very good. What else? A smoke from a bomb. Oh my God. Yeah. Maybe possible. Yeah. Right. You can see that it is really strange and deviate from the others, but because when you just read this message, the first impression is that, okay, why the writer has to do in this kind of form, right? In this kind of shape, and then it makes you to read the text one more time. So can you read the text, okay? And then tell me what it's all about. You don't need to understand all of them. Just to take the keyword. How he will deal with last moment for the bomb. Yeah. Is it a bomb? Yeah, Puripat is a great comment. It seems like someone has prepared to accept his fate by celebrating it. How can he celebrate? Drink wine. Very good. That is the keyword. Yeah, indeed. So this is a kind of the key term, right? Memorable wine. Okay, comfortable sailor stocked with memorable wine. He knows that he's going to be dead, right? But in order to die, what can I say, celebratory, right? So he can just drink the wine in order to celebrate it, and drink the Dionysiac springs. Okay, so it's about drinking. So a god of wine, yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Dionysus, yeah, he is a god of wine. Yeah, from the mythology. Very good. Yep, wine here. So can you guess one more time? What is the shape of this one?
Wine cup,
Wine cup,
wine
or we can
glass.
call, yeah, goblet. Goblet, indeed. Goblet, right? Goblet, sorry. Yeah, goblet here. This one. Yeah. The wine cup, okay, in easy terms. So it's a kind of a celebration, and this is a kind of a wine cup. Yeah. So when you die, you need to celebrate yourself through wine drinking, and you need to use this kind of device in order to drink wine. Yeah. Very good. See, from this kind of deviation, it makes you to just read the text carefully, and then you need to understand, oh, okay, so the overall meaning that we guess, okay, from the tree, from the trophy, from the lamp and smoke and goblet, something like that, okay. You can see that actually it is a white cup, right? Yeah. But actually, if you answer trophy, it's also possible, right? Because it's kind of celebration, okay? And then it's a kind of, if you interpret, if you like death, it's like a celebration, okay? Death as a celebration. Sometimes some people, some culture just think like that as well. Yep. Okay, this is example of graphological deviation. When you see the picture and then it hooks you, and then you need to just read the text very carefully. Okay, yeah. Or even the tennis, 40 love, that is a sort of the graphological deviation as well. Okay, you think about the separation, the opposition between 40 and love, and then you can think about the marriage and the relationship between these two. Yeah. Okay. This one, I think that it is a very difficult one indeed. Okay. But this is another example of the graphological deviation. Think about this. You don't need to read it all, okay? But you can do it at home if you have time. Pay attention to this one. Whistles far and wee, and whistles far and wee. This poem talks about the three periods of time. Okay, so when you just think about this one, in just spring, okay, the word spring again, when the word is mudluscious, the little lame balloon man whistles finely, and Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring when the word is kind of wonderful, the queer old balloon whistle, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the balloon man seems to change himself, okay, from the lame, okay, to the queer, and then to the goat-footed balloon man. Okay, so you can see that it represents 3 periods of time. Okay, and then you can see that the distance between these phrases, whistles far and we, okay, what happened to it? Can you explain this? What happens to this phrase? The poem talks about the child abuse. Okay, so if you just read it very carefully, it talks about the child abuse and it's also relevant to nowadays. Yeah, what happened nowadays is that the child abuse and it's about the kidnapping as well. When the child sees someone really strange and this kind of stranger tries to seduce the child to be his belonging, it's very quite scary in a sense. But you see that the first period is about the child, and the queer is in the teenagers, and the last one is about in the adulthood. Yeah. But so what is so striking about this one is this phrase whistle far and we, whistles far and we, and whistles far and we. What happened to it? What can you see?
I think it's like it's gradually falling down, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, falling as well. Yeah, seems to be falling, right? Yeah. What else? This one is in the same sentence, right? Whistles far and we. This is separated into 2 sentences. And then, not 2 sentences, sorry, 2 lines. And this is separated into 4 lines. See, in terms of number, 2 lines, 1 line, and 4 lines. Why the author has to do this? Okay, you can think about this. Okay, we have some time, and you can read some summaries from the internet sources. Okay, but you can see that from the stylistics perspective, you can see that the writing seems to be deviate, okay, from the way that we have seen in real life. Okay, from 1 line, 2 lines, and 4 lines. Actually, we can see that when we talk about this one, whistles far and we, when you just read the poem, think about yourself as a poem recitals in a sense. When you just read this sentence, it's going to be lame balloon man, whistles far and we. But for this one, the queer old balloon man whistles far and we. And the last one, goat-footed balloon man whistles far and we. Yeah. Very good. Oh, yeah, Pumipat, that is another interesting point of view. It talks about aging. Yeah, it talks about aging too. As I said, that there are 3 periods of time, right? It's about adulthood. And then when you are growing older, it means that your energy seems to be, what can I say? It seems to be decreasing, right? So your power of breathing seems to be limited. Yeah, so that's why they require more time to blow the whistles. Indeed. Okay, that is another interesting point of view. Thank you very much. Yep. But you can tell that 1 line, 2 lines, and 4 lines represent a period of life. Okay. Yep. Because when you are growing older, the way that you speak seems to be slower in a sense. Okay. Yeah. This is called another graphological deviation. Okay. Does it make sense to all of you? Okay, you can argue anytime, okay, because it's about poetry. There is no right or wrong. That is the charm of the poetry. You can interpret, okay, as long as you have evidence, okay. Okay, the next one, lexical deviation. Lexical deviation is about word forming. Okay, the new word. Okay, neologism. Okay, when you come up with a new word. Okay, no, neologism. Yeah, yeah. When you create a new word or create a new kind of collocation, it is called a lexical deviation because lexical means word. Yep. From this one, you can see that thunderation and quasi-simultaneous. Okay, this is a new word. Okay, from the fiction, and from this one, ambulances. Okay, when we talk about the ambulances here, for borne away in dead air, may go the sudden shot of loss. Okay, you can see that you don't need to have a special knowledge, but you can see that this one is really strange, right? Okay. Think about the ambulance. And when a patient goes into the ambulance, like you got the COVID-19, right? And you go into the ambulance. And this is a kind of situation that a patient has to encounter when they are in the ambulance, okay? The deadened air, when you are in the ambulance, the air seems to be tight, right? Seems to be in the closed space, so the air seems to be deadened. And then may go the sudden shot of loss, okay? If you cannot be treated in time, you may lose your spirit, or you may die. But you can see that the word shot of loss is really quite strange and deviate. How? Can you tell me? What does it mean then, shot of loss? And when you just hear some, when you just read newspaper, like in New York Times, they use this word from time to time as well, shut up loss. But this comes from P. Larkin. Okay, this is one of the famous writers indeed, okay, in the 20th century. Do you feel anything? Shut up loss? Loss means losing life, right? And shut, it means closing. Yep. And
Save life.
Sorry?
To save life.
To save life. Okay, in what way to save life?
I don't know, close to lots, you know.
Yeah, save life indeed. Indeed. But actually this one, it talks about whether you are going to be saved or you're going to be dead. You're going to be dead, right? Yeah, so this is a kind of, the word shut means to a kind of junction. Yeah. Shut came from door, right? When you shut the door. So the door means the junction. So if you open, it means that you can go through. But if you shut the door, it means that you cannot go through this place. So it can represent the junction between life and death. This is a thing that he uses. Yeah, and the word shut of loss was really quite for grounding by the time, because people ask, what does it mean then? Shut of loss. And then he said that the shut represents the shutting of the door, right? Or the door of the ambulance as well, or the door in general. Okay, so the shut of loss here means the junction between life and death in a sense. Okay. Yeah, so it is a lexical deviation because the word shut has been used with life and death. That is so intriguing and very deviation. Okay, it is considered as a deviation as well. Yeah. Or the word thunderation. The word thunderation, there is no definition in the dictionary. Okay, but this is kind of combination between thunder and Asian. Asian is like a suffix. If you want to make it as a noun, right, you can put it after thunderation. Think about the consider, right? Consideration, something like that, or celebrate or celebration. But this is thunder. Thunder here used as a, actually it's a noun, right? Okay, but now it's used as a verb, right? And then he just combined thunder and ration together. Thunderation, it means the act of having thunder in a sense, okay? Or the quasi-simultaneous. You know this word simultaneous means at the same time, right? And quasi means to be fully fledged, right? So when you just use these two together, it means that this is a status of being being at the same time. Okay, in a sense, yeah. This is a kind of lexical deviation. Yeah, just come up with the new words. Okay, and then this kind of new word can hook people's attention. Okay. Yeah. Is that clear? Yeah. Lots of theories and lots of people nowadays, they use this kind of lexical deviation to hook people's attention from the advertisement. Indeed. Yep. You can see from the cosmetic, right? From the Maybelline New York or something like that. Make it happen, something like that. Actually, it's not a lexical deviation, but they try to just come up with a new neologism, indeed, new words, a new phrase in order to hook people's feeling. Yeah. Okay, the next one is called grammatical deviation. Okay. Grammatical deviation is like you break the grammatical rules. Okay. For the first one, actually this one is a bit challenging. If you have time, you can read it by yourself. But you can see that this one breaks the grammatical rules. Okay, okay, this is number one. Okay, I would like you to think about it for 1 minute. And this one, think about how it breaks the grammatical rule. Okay, read about it for 1 minute, and okay, I will ask you your opinion. Okay, any ideas? Okay, for the first one, where is the grammatical deviation from the first one? For those students who love writing, they can detect a grammatical deviation easily. Okay, can you no subject? Yeah, very good for 1 week, very good. So when they use the subordinate clause, right? Okay, like I live in a house, okay, and where blah blah blah, right? Where actually after this one, where I like most, for example, this is the way that we use the subordinate clause, right? After the relative pronoun, right? Live in a house where I like most, but this one, where remove lives, loneliness clarifies. This breaks the grammatical rules because there is no subject, indeed, okay? And actually this one, if you want to change it into a normal one or the grammatically correct, right? Where loneliness, actually this one you need to change like where loneliness clarifies removed lives. Okay. So they want to show that the loneliness, this house and this village is really quite lonely because there is no life, okay, exist in this village anymore. So loneliness clarifies removed lives. The lives are removed in this village, in a sense. Okay, that's why when we just read this one, okay, you can see that, oh my God, this is grammatical deviation. And that's why the purpose of the writer is that they want to show the lowliness, okay, through this phrase, okay? So the people will focus on this one, lowliness clarifies. He wants to use the word lowliness, okay, in front of the sentence so that people will have more attention to this poem, okay? Because when you see this one, and fast, isolate villages, loneliness clarifies. But he cannot use after this because if he used loneliness here, the loneliness will be acted as a subordinate clause, right? So he just changed the position from this one to loneliness clarifies indeed. Okay. And number two, what is so strange and what is so deviating from the norms? Get idea?
There is no object for the word hate.
Okay. Hate like this. Yeah, very good. Indeed. No object. Very good. Yeah, that is the first observation. Yeah, you hate me, I hate you in a sense, but they hate like this. What does it mean, right? So this is the first one. What else?
In the second sentence,
Yeah.
there are two finite verbs, got and detects.
Got and detects. Very good. That is another thing. Yeah. Thank God that you got this point. Very good. Okay. So it cannot be used if you talk about the grammatically correct, this is not grammatically correct. We use got and detects. Okay. Say. So from this one, you can see that when the speaker says something like that, what happens to him? This is a thing that you need to think about when you analyze stylistics. Okay, why this person has to speak like this, or when they what kind of the sentence that they are using. And if you know about the context, that's why some of your friends talk about the context. This from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This story is what can I say? Is told by a mad person point of view. So when you talk about the mad person point of view, he cannot control his grammatical correctness because he is mad. How can he control his language, right? And his point of view is deviated. So that's why, in a sense, when you understand this one, oh my God, this is because he got something wrong in his mentality. Okay, so he cannot distinguish the grammatical correctness. Okay, which one is correct and which one is incorrect. And according to the medicine or the research of medicine, people with a mental disorder, they cannot use grammar correctly. Okay, and this represents the way that he used the language through the way that we have read. Okay, this is the thing. He doesn't know how the word hate has to be followed by the object. He doesn't know, and he doesn't know how to use the finite verb. Okay, and that there is also a mixture between the past and present tense. When you tell the story to your friends, what kind of tense that you have to use?
Past tense.
Past tense. See, but this is the story. When he told the story, he used all in the present tense. That's so really strange about this one. So it means that he has a kind of mental disorder in a sense. Yeah, he cannot just distinguish which is past, which is present. And mental disorder patients, they have this kind of problems all the time. Okay, because they cannot distinguish time. All of his mind or of his mentality is always present. Okay, he doesn't know about his past. Okay, and everything that he has to encounter is in the present time all the time. Yeah, and this is a classic example as well. Yeah, you can explain this through the grammatical errors. Okay, and you can tell about the mentality of the writer or the narrator as well. Yep. See? Okay. Even just only grammatical deviation, it can tell about the people's feelings and emotions and effects, very effective in a sense. Okay, the next one is semantic deviation. Okay. And as I said, that semantic deviation, it plays with the meaning, okay? Some meaning can do something that is really quite strange from our expectation, okay? From this one, I can see that silence stands like heat. This is a poem that we have read, right? Okay, you can see that silence stands. Is that possible? Silence is uncountable now, right? And it is a non-animate object. How can he stand? How can it stand? Yeah, personification or humanification. Okay, that is a term, indeed. And this is the kind of personification or humanification. This is a kind of thing. This is a technique that we are considering as a semantic deviation. Okay, silence stands and loneliness clarifies. Is that possible? Loneliness is a non-animate object, right? That's why we need to think what loneliness can it qualify? Yeah, actually it has to be human doing this, right? Yeah, this is called semantic deviation. Okay, okay. So the first one is a personification. What about the second one? Fog in the stem and bowl of the afternoon pipe of the wrathful skipper down his close cabin, fog cruelly pinching the toes and fingers of his shivering little prentice boy on deck.
Is it the word fog?
Yeah. What happened to the fog?
Well, like, should it be frog with the R?
With the R? No. Actually, it's a fog. Indeed, it's a fog. Yeah. It's a fog. It's a steam. It's a steam. But the steam can pinch. Do you know the word pinch? So if you want to make sure that you are not in a dream, you need to pinch yourself. What does it mean? Yeah, indeed. So can the fog pinch? Fog cruelly pinching the toes and fingers. Is that possible? Again, this is a personification. Yep. Indeed. Yep. Right. So this is a kind of the personification. You use something to represent something, okay? And like non-animate objects can do something that only human can do, or sometimes human can do something that a non-animate object can do. Like when you use the word, what can I say? Pivot. Do you know the pivot, right? Pivot is like a turning. Actually, it is a term from the engineering engines. So when the gear has to pivot, it means that it has to turn from one side to another side. But when people use, like the captain said that we need to pivot, so it means that it uses a kind of different directions. So human have to do something instead of the non-animate object, something like that. Yeah, this is called the semantic deviation. Okay, pivot ก็คืออะไรนะเหมือนกับหันอะไรนะอะไรนะขวาหันซ้ายหันอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับประมาณนี้นี่คือ pivot. Okay, but actually it is used by the engineering devices. Okay, actually it is rooted by the okay, so this is called semantic deviation. Just think about personification. All kinds of personification is a semantic deviation. Okay, yep. Okay, deviant world. I think this one is easy. Yeah, let's see. It is the world that is so different from ours. So when you just read this one, it was bright. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. And the voice came from an oblong metal plate, like a dull mirror which formed part of the surface of the right-hand wall. The instrument, the telescreen, it was cold, could be dimmed, but there was no way of shutting it off completely. Okay, what is so different from our world?
13 in the clock.
See, yeah, indeed. Okay, and April was supposed to be summer. Indeed, very good. Thank you. Okay, the bright cold day in April here. Actually, it has to be summer, but oh my God, this world is winter. What kind of world is this, right? And the clocks were striking 13. So the system has been changed to the 13. So from 1 to 12, there is no 12 o'clock anymore. There has to be like 13, and one day it has to be 26 hours in a sense. Yeah, so it is from 1984. Okay, if you have read this one, okay, it's about Big Brother, and it's a dystopian literature talking about when the world is disrupted and it was ruled by someone who has total authority. Yeah, so they change all of the system. There is no democracy. Okay, and you have to be monitored all the time in a sense. So this is a kind of the, I think this one is really relevant, yeah, to our situation, right? Okay, so it's a kind of deviant world in a sense. Okay, something that is so different from us. And I think that deviant world is used often in dystopian literature when the world is ruled differently from the thing that we have done nowadays, right? Okay. Yeah, this is a thing that this is another technique for grounding. Okay, they can just talk about the deviant worlds. Okay, so different from us. And this is another examples parallelism. Okay, I need to just be brief, right? Parallelism is like repetitive, right? Being repetitive. I kissed thee, yeah, I killed thee. So you can see that this is repeated, the word thee, I, and I, right? And kiss and kill is so different, but the structure seems to be similar, right? Subject, verb, object, okay? Subject, verb, object, okay? So this is really quite for grounding because it's parallel, okay? I kiss you and then I kill you in a sense. So that is so really interesting, right? Okay, why I kiss you? So it means the lover can be the murderer. Yeah. Okay, and this one parallelism from the nursery rhyme. Okay, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. You can see that this one, Humpty Dumpty, Humpty Dumpty, all the kings and all the kings. Yep. And could they put Humpty together again? So Humpty are repeated 3 times in this poem. So the word Humpty Dumpty seems to be for grounding, right? So you feel like, oh, so who is the Humpty Dumpty? So it's just really interesting to explore later, right? And Humpty Dumpty is an egg, right? Okay, if you remember this one, is a song for the child, indeed. Okay, right. I think that I can skip this one. Or birth, on death. Okay, all kind of repetition. It is considered as a parallelism. Okay, or okay, something like that. Or holding a garden party. Ours giving evidence. Or birth at once, on death equally slowly. Okay, so the word or here, it talks about the options that we need to choose. Okay, it's about the range between choosing right or wrong in a sense. Yeah. Okay, and I think that you can read this in the book. Okay. It like to talk about the congruence of grounding and cohesion of grounding. So the keyword is that, right? So the foregrounding, when you just find the foregrounding effect, you need to explain this kind of effects towards all the text. Okay, so when you read the text, like when you read text about the wine, right? So you read the text very carefully, and then you can link the meaning towards the shape of the wine cup. Okay, so you can have the holistic meaning from that one. So it means that you need to cohere all of the things together, okay, to make a good stylistics analysis. Yep. Okay, other triggers of grounding effects. Okay, sometimes you can use your instinct. Yeah, sometimes it cannot be explained through the linguistic evidence, but sometimes you can tell Ajahn, or you can tell me that Ajahn, I think that it is so for grounding. Okay, use your instinct and try to explain based your personal experiences. Okay, and it is considered as a for grounding effects and deviation and parallelism as well. Yep. Okay, this one is another example. This one is from the real advertisement. Okay, you can see that this one from the bank. Okay, Prudential is a bank in the UK. I'm not sure it's in the UK or in the US. Okay, I need to explore. But this is one of the bank that is really quite popular by the time. And then there is a slogan by this bank here: customers first, Prudential always puts it. Okay, so when you read this one, what is your impression? What is your feeling? At first, you need to analyze, okay, that this what kind of deviation that this sentence have. Is it grammatically correct?
No.
No, sure. So you need to just list it like, okay, I found grammatical deviation. Yeah, that's a good news. Yeah, indeed, it is not grammatically correct. What else? Oh my God, Pawanvit, you are so fast indeed. Yeah, and because of grammatical deviation, it means that we need to think about it very carefully, right? Why customers has to put in at the first position? Because Prudential,
Customer first.
yeah, always put its customers first. Actually, the correct sentence has to be Prudential always puts its customers first, right? But when the advertising agency just propose, I think if you want to make the customers really important, you need to put it at first. See, so the customer can see that they come first, always and forever, in a sense. Okay, so as Pawanvit mentioned in the chat box, okay, that is a great answer indeed. And you can tell that because I found the grammatical deviation, that's why it's really for grounding, and it just makes us why the customer has to be put in the first position of the sentence. And we can understand that because customer is the most important, that's why we need to just put it at first. Okay, this is the way that we use the statistic analysis to explain. Okay. Yeah, I think that this one you can just read by yourself. Okay, it's about the pattern reforming, and pattern forming is about the deviation and parallelism. But again, as I said, that parallelism is about repetition, and a kind of words that you can see they are repeated. But for the deviation, something that is so strange from our world, like a deviant world, or the lexical deviation, a kind of a new word that you may not see before, something like that. Okay, yeah. So this is the first class and the first lesson. You need to know what is the difference between parallelism and deviation. And yeah, examples from everyday language, okay? For those people who like to know about the everyday language. And this is a kind of another example. And you just roll like sarcasm, right the way down and get right up to the top. What kind of deviation that this writer has liked to convey? And for this one as well, this one as well.
Lexical?
Yeah, very good, lexical. Indeed, lexical deviation here. And we call it as a neologism, right? Okay. create a new word. Because circusing, it means that we have no words in the dictionary, right? And you just roll like circusing. But when you talk about the circusing, you think about this picture, right? And with this kind of the word. And when you just roll, you can see the roof of a circus seems to be rolling and rolling all the time. Okay, so this is a kind of metaphor that the writer wants to convey through the lexical deviation. And what about this one? And so I'm afraid we're a bit sort of challenged green-wise. Greenly challenged, and we're greenly challenged, so I'm sorry about that. What does it mean, green-wise? We are in the 20, I think this is 2004, right? Now we are at 2021, but it's still relevant. What does it mean, go green?
To become eco-friendly.
Yeah, eco-friendly, very good. You did, yeah. And so very sustainable, right? Okay, and environmentally friendly indeed. Okay, thank you very much. So when you use this word green-wise, it means that you need to think about the environment, right? Or greenly challenge, it means that you need to do it with the environment in mind all the time. Okay, you cannot destroy the forest, or you cannot destroy some trees and flowers when you do something. Right? This is a thing that is a kind of lexical deviation as well. Yeah, it's very smart, and advertising agency use this all the time. Okay, when you just notice it very carefully, and the newspaper too. Yeah, like Trumpian. What can I say? Trumpian region. Yeah, I think I found it from the New Yorkers. Trumpian region, it means the region that is ruled by the Trump system, in a sense. Okay, there is nothing, there is no word in the dictionary. Or can I say MacGyver? The word MacGyver here. MacGyver. Okay, and actually now I think it is included in the dictionary now, but it is derived from the lexical deviation as well. MacGyver is a character from the television series, and he is a smart guy, right? And then because he is really smart, okay, people use this verb in order to say that I would like to MacGyver this key. So MacGyver is like a kind of mechanism, a kind of process that you have to do in order to be successful in something because you are really smart. So MacGyver is like a verb here. Yep. Okay. So it's a kind of lexical deviation. Okay. Neologism again. Yeah. Okay. And this is a kind of repetition. Okay. Yeah, you can see from the normal conversation. I like Sunday nights for some reason. I don't know why. Because you come home, I come home, you come home to us and pick out. Yeah, Sunday is a really nice day. I think it's a really nice, relaxing day. So when you just see this kind of repetition, okay, it means that they're talking about coming home, and coming home can reflect the happiest place in the world, in a sense. Yeah, you can just read it by yourself, indeed. Okay, I think that this one you can read by yourself. Okay, pattern reforming choices. Okay, so pattern reforming is deviation. So the thing that you need to know is about reforming is to create something new. It's we call it as a deviation. And pattern forming, okay, if you want to create a form or structure, it's called a parallelism. Okay, like to write a poem or poetry or some kind of the repetitiveness of some words. Okay, this is called the pattern forming choices. Yeah, I think that's all for this one. These are the main points that you need to get from this class. Okay, you need to clarify these two terms, deviation and parallelism. Okay, they are I think they are in the same coin. Okay, both of them can make the foregrounding effects. Okay, so this is a key word for the stylistics. And then stylistics, they are used as important analytical tools Okay, and both are linguistic phenomena that tend to result in foregrounding effects and that can play a central role in the text overall effects. Okay, you need to detect the deviation and parallelism first, and then you can use this to explain the meaning in general. Okay, and both can involve different linguistic levels. Okay, so you can tell semantic deviation, lexical deviation, or the grammatical deviation, blah, 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 right? And they can use this in the literature and informal conversation or in the advertising, okay? This is a thing that you need to know, yeah. Yeah, I think that the references, okay, I put it here if you like, okay, I have all of these books, okay, you can request individually if you like. And then, okay, this is the assignment, okay, I put it in the Google Classroom already. Okay, so be ready to discuss, to read it first, okay, and then you need to use the knowledge of the deviation and parallelism and foregrounding effects, okay, and try to answer the question that I just put it in the task, okay, and the poem is called First Day at School, okay, right. Okay, where is it? I'm going to show you my Google Classroom. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, yeah. This is new assignment here. Yep, this one, First Day at School. It's a short poem, but try to just detect all of the deviation and parallelism and try to use it to explain the linguistic phenomenon. Okay, why there is a kind of linguistic phenomenon here and there, and how is it relevant to the meaning in general? Okay, right. So this is a kind of the pattern that I'm going to use throughout this semester. Okay, right. Any questions as of now? Okay, let's see. You join my class. Well, what is that? Student people. Ah, okay. Yeah, so you are there, right? Yes. So you got all of the materials and everything. Okay. And the next time I'm going to check the attendance, okay, based on the discussion. Okay, so make sure that you have spoken something through the discussion part. Okay, so the first 1 hour, the first half of the session, you need to contribute something to the class. Okay, so I can check the attendance by then. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think that's all for today. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Okay, any question before I leave?
So
When
about
do we have?
Yeah.
Sorry. So about the homework, so we just did and just prepare for the
Yeah.
for the
class.
discussion, not just
Yeah.
not
Next.
like have to send to you. Or
No,
anything.
you don't need to send me anything, but you need to discuss in the class. That's why the attendance score is very
Okay.
important. Yeah, make sure that you have something in mind to discuss with your friends. Don't try to be blank, okay? Because if you blank, it means that your attendance score will be deducted a little bit. Okay, right. Okay, any other question? Yeah, I hope that this class will be entertaining as I expect, because you need to think about it all the time. Okay, yeah, thank you. Have okay, very time. Thank you. Stay safe and have okay. And as I said that you don't need to turn on the monitor. I know that it's your right, and yeah. So, but make sure that you just speak something. Okay, yeah. Don't be like an unknown citizen, because some class I never discuss anything with the student, so I'm not sure that he or she is already there, right? So make sure that you speak something, okay, towards the discussion class. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, see you next week. Okay, yeah. Bye bye. See you then. Okay, I will stay in the class.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Bye bye.
Thanks, Sam.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
Thank you
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ